All right, this is just about my lift. Ain't about the engine or nothing, but it is a 4G63 out of a DSM all-wheel drive. But anyway, wanted to do a little thing about this lift. I paid like $99 for this thing years and years ago with a coupon. It came with a chain and the hook. But when I end up getting this, I got this a few months ago or whatever to do all these jobs I'm doing. This thing works pretty good. I recommend you put some kind of lube on this because when you get a lot of weed on there, this thing tends to squeak a lot. That's just to balance the weight out. But this thing's holding a transmission and an engine. But what I end up doing here to make this thing a lot better when it's using this, because the chain just let this thing down too far. It's just too much slack in the chain. Plus, how I did this, if you look inside there, that's a huge washer about the size of this piece right here. And it's about 1/4 inch thick with 2 nuts. The bolt is a little bit thicker than the chain link. And all I did was weld that thing on there pretty good. As you can see, it's welded all the way around. Should hold quite a bit of weight. But the trick is to have your washer this wide, because this thing's going to take a lot of weight. You don't want it thin, because then it'll start to bulge in the center, start pulling through. So you want a bit, even better if you want to, you could weld a piece of steel in here, put you a hole through it, and then that would give it a little bit more support. But I'm using this thing as is, and it's not bending or anything, so it'll hold quite a bit of weight. But this thing allows you, if you do it this way, it allows you to where you can actually spin the engine and it doesn't go back on you. It'll rock a little bit, but you can literally spin this thing around in a circle. So you can actually work on this thing as it's hanging on there, and you ain't got to be moving around all the time. You can just spin the engine. And then when you're putting it in, the chain, when I had just the chain hooked on there without this swivel, what would happen is you'd pull it over, and then when you let go of it, it'd go right back again. So, and I left one link on here, that way it would give me a lot of back and forth movement. So it'll sway back and forth any which way I want to sway it. So if it was just welded to this and welded to straight, it would move a little bit on this. But this right here, in case you're not using this and you got to hook onto something, it still gives you a little, it's just not stiff-armed. So that gives you a lot of movement. But there you go. I just wanted to, these things should come like that already. It would be a whole lot simpler, a lot easier to work with. I do a few engines from time to time. I got my Integra. I just had to redo this engine for the DSM. But I just wanted to give somebody an idea if they have one of these, and it's a good idea. It works good. A nice thick weld on there. That thing will hold. Something will give before that weld gives. And if you're going to be picking up a lot of weight, like I said, and you're worried about, because this stuff is only like 3/16, probably 3/16. But anyway, it's really, really thin. You might want to weld you a plate on the bottom of this, like so wide as this. That way, if you're picking up a lot of weight, you don't have to worry about this pulling through. I don't think this thing will go anywhere. As you can see, that's a hefty washer, and it's almost the wide as this piece here. So you'd have to put a lot of weight on there for that thing to pull through. So like and subscribe, and share a video and help support the channel. Thanks a lot.